These are the top 5 beginner mistakes in Mario Kart World. You see the finish line, but you just can't seem to cross it first. You're getting nailed by shells you never saw coming, falling off the edge on the final lap, and watching your friends blow right past you, leaving you in the dust. You keep losing races in Mario Kart World, and you're chalking it up to bad luck. But what if I told you it's not the game, and it's not bad luck, it's you?
I'm gonna kill myself!
You're losing because of simple but devastating mistakes you don't even realize you're making. These aren't some pro-level secrets, they're fundamental blunders that are hard-coded into how you play, and they are single-handedly costing you a spot on the podium. Well, that all ends today. Forget everything you think you know about winning, because we're about to rebuild your race strategy from the ground up. In this video, we're breaking down the top 5 beginner mistakes that are holding you back in Mario Kart World, and for each mistake, we're not just going to point out what you're doing wrong, we're going to give you the exact fix, the correct technique to replace it with so you can stop losing and start dominating. We'll cover everything from how you use your items to the game modes you're probably ignoring. So grab your controller, because by the end of this, you'll be leaving your own friends in the dust. Let's get into it. All right, let's kick things off with our first mistake, and it's a huge one I see almost every new player make. You get an item and you use it instantly. You get a green shell, you throw it, you get a banana, you drop it, you get a mushroom, and you burn it on the very first straightaway you see. It's an impulse that makes sense. You have a weapon and you want to use it, but in Mario Kart World, playing with that kind of trigger-happy strategy is like trying to win a chess match by only moving your pawns. You're giving up your most valuable resource, control. The problem here is twofold. First, you leave yourself completely defenseless. That single green shell or banana isn't just for attacking, it's your only shield. By holding the item, you can drag the shell or banana right behind you, creating a physical barrier that will stop an incoming red shell. When you're out front, that defensive move is way more valuable than a slim chance of hitting someone with a blind throw. Tossing it away for a low percentage shot leaves you wide open, and the moment you hear that dreaded red shell alert, you'll have nothing to save you. Second, you're playing right into the game's hands. Mario Kart is famous for its rubber banding, where players further back get better items to help them catch up. When you're near the front, the game mostly gives you defensive stuff like bananas and green shells, or maybe just a coin. These aren't meant for long-range attacks. Their main job is to help you survive. Using them recklessly is a total waste of the little protection the game gives you. So what's the solution? It's simple patience. From now on, treat every item like you got a strategic tool, not a fire and forget missile. When you get a defensive item like a banana or a green shell, your first instinct should be to hold on to it. Keep your finger on that item button and drag it behind you as a shield. Only use it in 3 situations. 1, you hear the warning of an incoming red shell and need to block it. 2, you use the rear view camera, see an opponent right on your tail, and a well-aimed drop will actually hit them. Or 3, you're about to hit another set of item boxes and you need to free up a slot. For speed items like mushrooms, the same logic applies. Don't just burn your mushroom on an open road. Save it for a key moment. The best way to use a mushroom is to cut across off-road sections like deep sand or grass, letting you take huge shortcuts that are otherwise impossible. The second mistake is one that thousands of new players make the second they start the game. They jump straight into online multiplayer. They want to test their skills against real people right away. The problem is they're showing up to a race with a rusty go-kart while everyone else is in a finely tuned machine. This mistake is ignoring the Grand Prix mode. So many players see it as a boring single-player chore, a tutorial to be skipped, but in reality, the Grand Prix is the single most important mode for building your foundation in Mario Kart World. Here's why skipping is such a huge mistake. In Mario Kart World, a ton of content is locked at the start. We're talking characters, vehicles, and even whole race cups. The main way you unlock all the essential stuff is by playing and winning cups in Grand Prix mode. You might love a character like Donkey Kong, but if you haven't finished the right cups, you can't use them. Even more importantly, vehicles are not just for looks. They have stats. Some carts give you better handling, some carts have a higher top speed. By not unlocking these, you're handicapping yourself and your ability to build a cart that fits how you play. You unlock these parts by collecting coins, and the best way to rack up races and coins is through the Grand Prix. On top of that, each Grand Prix Cup is a guided tour of 4 specific tracks. This is your training ground. It's where you're supposed to learn the layouts and turns and hidden shortcuts in a low pressure setting. Going online without this knowledge is like trying to navigate a maze blindfolded. You'll be struggling just to stay on the track while other players who put in the time are hitting every boost pad and taking every shortcut because they know the course like the back back of their hand. They learned it in the Grand Prix. The fix is to make the Grand Prix your top priority before you even think about challenging players online. Your goal should be to clear every cup. You don't even have to get first place on the hardest difficulty right away. Just playing through the cups on 50cc or 100cc will start unlocking characters and courses. Once you're comfortable, move up to 150cc. Winning gold trophies in 150cc and mirror mode is how you unlock some of the best content in the game. Treat each Grand Prix like it's a study session. Don't just race, explore. Pay attention to the track. Notice where the shortcut paths are. By the time you finish the Grand Prix, you won't just have a full roster of characters and a garage full of vehicles. You'll have the most important tool of all, knowledge, and you'll be ready to compete online. Mistake number 3 is clumsy drifting and pointless tricks. You see a ramp, you hit the trick button. You see a turn, you start a drift. This seems right, doesn't it? The game tells you to do these things, but the way most beginners do them isn't just inefficient, it's actively slowing them down. Mistake number 3 is all about clumsy drifting and spamming tricks for no reason. You're going through the motions, but you're not getting those powerful speed boosts that separate the rookies from the racers. When you go off a ramp or a ledge, clicking the trick button gives you a little speed boost when you land, so naturally beginners try to trick off of absolutely everything. The problem is, not all tricks are worth it, and sometimes setting up for a trick can mess up your racing line. More importantly, there's a much stronger technique called a mini turbo trick. This is when you release the drift boost right as you go off a ramp. That, combined with momentum, gives you a way bigger boost than a standard trick alone. If you're just mindlessly tricking, you're missing out on a huge speed advantage on almost every single lap. Now, as you drift around a corner that leads to a jump, hold that drift until the very last second. Release the mini turbo just as your wheels leave the ramp, and then immediately hit the trick button. The explosion of the speed is massive. On parts of the track without ramps, prioritize drifting. On parts with ramps, prioritize the mini turbo trick. It'll take practice to get the timing down, so head into the time trial mode. There you can race without items and opponents getting in your way. Just pick a track and run laps focusing on your drift lines and landing mini turbo tricks. Mastering this will fundamentally change how fast you are. The next mistake is sticking to the pavement. Every track in Mario Kart has a clear paved road. It's wide, it's safe, and it's for beginners. It feels like it's the only place you're supposed to be. This leads to mistake number 2, sticking to the pavement like your tires are glued to it. New players are terrified of going off-road. They see grass, sand, dirt as a penalty that slows them down, so they avoid it at all costs. And while it's true that going off the road without a boost will slow you down, this fear is stopping you from seeing the track as a whole dynamic playground filled with hidden paths and game-changing shortcuts. This is a crippling mistake because on many tracks, the fastest way from A to B is not on the actual road. The designers have built shortcuts right into the game that reward players for their track knowledge and smart item use. These aren't glitches, they are meant to be found. For example, a sharp U-turn can often be skipped entirely by using a mushroom to cut across a patch of grass. A long winding part of the track might have a hidden ramp off to the side that lets you fly over the whole thing. By staying on the main road, you are literally taking the scenic route while other players are on the express lane. You could be driving a perfect race on the pavement, hitting every drift, only to watch another player suddenly appear way ahead of you because they took a shortcut you didn't even know was there. The solution is to become an explorer and familiarize yourself with every track in Mario Kart World. Look for gaps in the wall, different colored patches of ground, and ramps tucked away in corners. By learning the shortcuts and mastering the new movement options, you're no longer just a driver, you're a navigator and a much faster racer. And here we are, the #1 beginner mistake in Mario Kart World. This is one that ties all the others together and causes so much frustration. It's ignoring your surroundings. Beginners play with tunnel vision. They stare at a little piece of track directly in front of their cart, and that's it. Their whole world is a 10-foot patch of asphalt. They have no idea what's happening around them, what items opponents are holding, or what the minimap is showing. They are driving reactively, not proactively. And in a game as chaotic as Mario Kart, that's a surefire way to lose. This mistake is devastating because information is power. Let's start with what's behind you. A beginner will be cruising in first place, feeling great, and then bam, they get blasted by a red shell. They're shocked, blocked. It feels random, unfair. An experienced player, however, is constantly checking their rear view. They know the player in second has been holding a red shell for the past 10 seconds. They're ready for an attack and have their own banana or green shell held behind them, ready to block. The beginner gets hit, the expert survives. The beginner blames luck, the expert credits awareness. It's not just what's behind you, but what's all around you. The minimap is one of the most powerful tools that new players completely ignore. It gives you so much information at a glance. You can see where every other racer is, which helps you avoid traffic and collisions. Critically, you can also see when powerful items are used. Is an opponent's icon flashing and rocketing up the map? Is someone's icon glowing like a rainbow? Knowing this lets you prepare. You can move to the side of the track to avoid or brace for the invincible player about to plow through everyone. A beginner is just a sitting duck. You need to make 2 habits part of your core gameplay. First, start using your rear view camera constantly. Check who's behind you, how close they are, and what item they're holding. Second, start using your minimap. Make a habit of glancing down at it every few seconds. Check your position relative to others, looking for item indicators. By breaking the habit of tunnel vision and developing real track awareness, you take your game to a whole new level. This is the ultimate skill that separates the great players from the good ones, and this is the final key to becoming a true contender in Mario Kart World. So there you have it, the 5 simple mistakes that are costing you race after race. We've talked about being patient with your items instead of firing them off instantly. We covered why you absolutely need to play Grand Prix to unlock and learn the tracks. Now I want to hear from you. What are the biggest beginner mistakes you used to make in Mario Kart? Let me know down in the comments below. And if this guide has helped you out, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more Mario Kart tips and strategies to help you dominate the competition. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the track.